So as always, when we begin, step number one is comfort. If you have a bolster, make sure that the feet are properly bolstered. I always like to take a second and make sure the sheets are nice. Okay, how's your head? Is your head okay in that position? You can breathe okay?
Yeah.
Great. Anything else to make you more comfortable?
Music.
Music? Okay, we'll get to that. We'll do music in just a minute. We'll get that going now. Right, so really step one with your clients is you want to make sure they're comfortable. Take a minute, just check in, right? That makes a big difference when you do give them that attention. Some people might want a pillow underneath their hips if they've got low back pain, right? Now we start the same way we did last week. We're going to do some gentle stroking techniques, and this is just to palpate and feel, right? I'm not going to spend much time because we did do this already. So we just begin nice and easy and gentle, okay? And we're going to do our draping, so we'll tuck in, we'll go underneath the hips, one side and the other side. Pull back, do a little tuck if we need to, just like that. Good. Okay. So as I begin, we're working on, last week we did muscle stripping, that's all we did. So this week we're going to get into the rest of the techniques. I do want you to practice them all. So remember skin rolling, we'll begin with skin rolling. So nice.
Without the oil.
Without the oil, yeah, don't use the oil. Oh, that's beautiful, gentle music. Right, so I'm not gonna do a lot of it. I just want you to practice your skin rolling. And you don't always have to start this way, but it's good to get used to it. So when you are practicing, take your time, one finger over another. Doing okay?
Yeah.
Come on, one more, I'll do this side. So we just grip little by little. When you get a roll like that, you just move through it. Nice and easy. Good, and we'll roll up in those traps. Good, so you'll do a couple of those strips, and then we'll move into a slightly deeper technique. Good. So note I'm always maintaining contact of the lotion. What is this stuff? This stuff is good. So we begin with Effleurage. Now Effleurage is basically going to be spreading the lotion. We're not worried about which side of the body. You notice I'm being very broad in my contact. Very broad on my contact surface. Really starting to pay attention to where there's tension. I notice some here, a little bit there. I need this one a little bit better. Yeah, great. That's perfect. Good. That's better. And I'm not pressing deep at all. You notice within my body mechanics, right? I'm not leaning over, staying nice and strong, but I am using my shoulders and elbows because it's so light. It's very light pressure, so I don't have to worry about my core too much. And you'll do that for a couple minutes, and then we'll move into our stripping. So our stripping techniques, now we'll focus on my mechanics. So lunge position, nice and strong, lock my joints, stabilize, and I'll move nice and slow. Remember with stripping, we do superficial to deep. Notice that my shoulder and my elbow are stacked in place. Back. Yeah. There's one thumb pushing down on the other, all the same techniques. But since we did this last week, we're not going to repeat it. I do want you to practice your stripping. So what we're going to do this week is we'll practice a few other ones, and we're going to start with the grasping technique. Now, with grasping on the back, really the only areas we can do successfully is the upper traps and the external rotators. I'll start in the upper traps because it's the easiest. So a grasping technique, I use in this case it'll be my outside hand to grab the opposite side, or my inside hand to grab the same side, right? I can do both simultaneously. But what I'll do is my thumb is involved, but I'll wrap my fingers around and I'm gonna lift the trapezius up a little bit, and then I just squeeze. That's it, so I'm squeezing like this. That part of my knuckle and the pads of my fingers. Now as I squeeze, I start very light. because it's super easy to overdo this, right? To go from feeling good to not good, it's not that much difference. I can also squeeze like this, pads my finger and the palm of my hand like this. Okay. Right. Another way that I can squeeze, I'll do it on this side, is I'll take my outside hand and I curl my fingers underneath the upper traps, and then this hand goes on top and I can squeeze in between my two fingers.
I see. There's so many techniques.
Yeah. So those are our three main ways. This, and that. But every way you do it, it's slow, so we're not doing this. Right? It's nice and slow and easy, and if I do both sides at the same time, I'm really not going to squeeze hard. It's super easy to overdo it. And you see I'm just very slowly letting that muscle slide out of my grip. Yeah? So that's our gripping technique, our squeezing technique. Ringing is quite simple. I'm going to stand in this horse stance and just move up and down. And this time you notice my body, my shoulder. I'm not moving my arms. I'm moving my entire body. Yeah, I'm just shifting my weight from one leg to another. So we usually do this. We can do it on the back. We could do it on the legs, right, if we get down into the legs. But we'll cover that later. But that's ringing. It's a very simple technique. Okay? Doesn't take much more explanation unless there's questions. Which then takes us.
Stripping?
This is ringing.
Oh, ringing. Okay.
Which takes us then into kneading. Now, right next to muscle stripping, kneading is one of the most common. And it's just like kneading bread. That's it. So I'm going to do two forms. I'll do one where I just pick a spot, like right here. And I'll use the pads of my fingers. And I'll just knead. Right. I can use two hands too. So it's a little more pressure, a little less pressure. I can use the palm of my hand.
Four fingers?
Yeah, or the palm of your hand, right? I can do the same thing where it's just kneading. One hand over the other, right? And really it is just like you're kneading bread, right? Just imagine you're more pressure, less pressure. You don't knead bread by, right? It's this gentle sort of a little push. You see now I can start to shift up the back a little bit too. And as you notice the movement, you look at my hands, but then focus on my upper body. The movement is coming from my body. I'm moving my entire body one side to another. I'm not moving my arms.
Oh yeah. So you don't strain your arm.
Yeah. So again, I can use those fingers. Use the palm of my hand. I'll never use my elbow for that because it's quite a gentle technique. And you can work on that QL and the low back a little bit, right? So you can be specific, pick a region, or you can be general. Now, very briefly, I'll show you. Say, for example, you do muscle stripping. Come up the back like this. And you turn it into squeezing. And you can pull back and maybe do a little bit of kneading. You see, because these techniques, it's not like I do stripping, and then I do gripping, and then I do... No, eventually, when we get into treatments, you kind of mix them. But now you understand the basics behind how to perform each one of these techniques. Any questions? Let's give that a practice.